Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body and keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes for ourselves to clarify and understand this meditation and what it is and how it can help for our life and how it can help for your develop for your spiritual practice and how it can help for your inner growth and how you can achieve to the liberation. So conventionally, verbally, we have to have a structure regarding the path that you practice, because that the structure will bring some kind of confidence for yourself to sit and practice. So that's why in different ways, we try to bring different interpretations, connotations, and getting some other meanings regarding the words that we use, because that understanding will help for you to become very clear with the path, what the Buddha taught. Why? Because 2,600 years now, in the beginning it came verbally, orally, and all the monks used to memorize, and then by the time it start to record and put it to the palm tree leaves, and then after that to the books, and it came through different hands. And sometimes there were enlightened masters, but sometimes, who knows, in the history, maybe it went through just ordinary people, whoever maybe never practiced the Dharma. So then we have a greater challenge today to understand exactly what is the right meaning and how it can help for us. And especially when it comes to the Western world, because in the Eastern, the way of understanding and the way of interpretation, the life is totally different when it comes to the West. So then we have another barrier with now today we have all the Western way of understanding and the way of life, and using that all the tools, how we can get into the Eastern way of understanding. But still, it is capable, because the human mind always has a power to refine the knowledge, refine the wisdom. So how you can refine? So then you have to come to the point. The way you should refine the wisdom or the understanding or the knowledge should be the right method. Because if you use the wrong method to refine, and as a result of that, what will happen again, it will start to become more tangled. And rather than becoming refining and becoming better and clear, it becomes more complicated. So then it is better that in the beginning we have to look what the really Buddha tried to explain and how he went through. So the very purpose of the Buddha and the appearance of the Buddha is giving the realizations to the life. Why we need the realization? Because we into different things in the life, and believing this is profitable and believing this is the truth. So that's why he into see what is the real thing in the world. What is this? Because every day that what we experience day by day, things change. So beyond this, what is really exist? And so when it comes to that, there is the fundamental, the foundation is the recognizing the truth and recognizing what is profitable. So the truth is the reality. And another way it called the Dharma. And another way, teachings of the nature, and recognizing the reality as it is. This all belong to the Dharma, the word. And other thing is fundamentally what you hold inside you, and what is the value that you hold as your life. So that also the Dharma. So the truth related to the Dharma. So that means the reality. And the profitable means you're out of your bodily, verbally, mentally actions, how you can come closer to reality. So that is the profitable. So if you go away from the reality, that is unprofitable. So first you have to come to the truth and understand what is the reality. And the other thing is how you can come to the reality doing actions, your bodily, verbally, mentally actions, and out of that profitable action, you will come to the reality. So otherwise, doing all the unprofitable actions, you can't come to the reality. So if you perform out of your bodily, verbally, mentally actions, so as a result of that, what will happen? So if it is unprofitable, you go away from the truth we call illusion. And if you come towards the reality or the truth, then it called the wisdom. So how then when it comes to in day-to-day life, how we can understand this is profitable for us or not? So this is one thing. The out of your bodily, verbally, mentally actions, if you get into a trouble or difficulty, hard time, and if yourself you into a danger, uncertainty, unbalance, and at the same time, for others, you bring the same kind of result. So that's mean it is unprofitable. So otherwise, if you bring the harmony, the balance, the comfort, the fearlessness, clarity out of your bodily, verbally, mentally actions. Then, in yourself and at the same time for others, if you bring that result, and then that's mean it is go towards the reality or the truth. So one of the important thing that you develop in your mind, the clarity. So the clarity come out of the bodily, verbally, mentally actions in a certain way. Before we go into meditation, so the meditation also come to the mental actions, but still in day-to-day life, like an ordinary person, so whatever you keep thinking. So when we come to that, if we go to the bottom of the Buddha's teaching, that there is a word, another word that for the Buddha we explained, that we mentioned, the Tathagata. So the Tathagata is a kind of like has a very deeper meaning. So the Tat means kind of like a such, like a reality, truth. So whatever is the ultimate is called the Tat or the such. Gata means, gata means it's kind of like a gone, go into the core. Is kind of like this. So whoever the person go into the core of reality is another way called Tathagata. So it's a kind of like when it go into the reality, there is a method. You can understand the reality by realization. That is a very important thing. So be very clear and be with me. So to recognize the reality, there is a special way. By dreaming, thinking, wishing, praying, you can't get into the reality. It's kind of like, when you want to go to the moon, there is a different way that you have to behave. You have to go through certain kind of process, train, and you have to learn how to deal with that. And maybe you have to go to the deeper the water and start to learn little by little how to go with the gravity, and how to behave without gravity. And there's a process. And there is a special vehicle that you have to use. The car you drive, you can't take to the moon. It doesn't work. So same thing with this. To go into reality, if you look for the reality, if you look for something else, this vehicle doesn't work. So forget about it. So this is a special vehicle. So if you want to go into the reality, the core of the reality, so then use this vehicle. Don't use other vehicles because it doesn't work. So then are you willing to let go that other vehicles and get the training into this vehicle? That's it. That's a fair question. It's nothing to do that converting somebody to something. Oh, it's not like that. Because there is no any other way. That's why the Buddha very clearly mentioned, Ekayano ayamaggo satipatthana. This is the only way that you can get into reality. So, what is that? Getting to reality, the method is realization. So, how you can realize? So, when it comes to that realization, what is the first thing that you have to come? Why this human capable to get it that? So with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, this all the perception. So that is the key point to enter to reality. So another way, that getting to the feelings. If you neglect the feelings, you can't. So the feelings happen only in the present moment. You can't catch the feeling from the past or the future. So being in the present moment means it's not just you just settle down and stay. No, you have to tune to the feelings. Why? Because the feelings is the very key point, bringing the connection to understand. So another way that we call the bliss. So what is the bliss mean? The very meaning of the bliss is tuning to the feelings. Without recognizing feelings, there is no bliss. So then what the bliss itself means, when you are in the present moment, you are in the bliss. So what does that mean? You are tuning to, another way, that the blissful feelings. Because once you into the feelings, there is no dualistic mind. When you get out of the feelings and start to think about it, then all the good feelings, bad feelings, sad feelings, happy feelings, you can name anything. But once you into the feelings, there is no such a difference. So how you know that? To know that, get into the feelings, and then you will see. It's same like once you enter to the house, it's different. But when you look the house from outside, you can bring a kind of like a shape and tell, this is my house. And then you can compare it to another house. And then maybe you can, bring more and more and more. And when you go around the neighborhood, and you can put the different garden, but once you inside the house, it's totally different. So same like once you enter to the feelings, once you recognize the feelings, itself, it becomes the bliss. And another thing is that if in any place, whatever the sensation, if you enter to the one place and touch the core, what happened? That one moment of experience bring the connection to all. So one become all. That is another experience that you gain out of practicing this one pointness or any kind of four foundations related to the vipassana. One become all. So these blissful feelings can experience by only the human being. Another thing is, you have to have all the senses. Your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. If you lose one, you can't understand this. That's why the human life is so important. And maybe you think that the other animals also have this. But when it comes to the mind, the awareness, and deeper consciousness, they can't come to the point to understand. Maybe they can do what is right and what is wrong, but they can't come to the understanding why it is right and why it is wrong. So that is why that we are capable to develop profitable skills. Because when you develop the profitable skills, you know this is right, this is wrong, and why this is right and why this is wrong. The right and wrong means it is not bad and good or kind of like a very conventional way of separation. You recognize how it can bring towards you to the reality and how it take you away from the reality or take you towards the ignorance. So to realize this, you have to get into the present moment. So that means catch the bliss. So what is the catch the bliss mean? Catch the feelings. To catch the feelings, you have to come to the moment. And not only that, you have to focus to whatever the body or the mind or pain or anything, whatever mental object you think, you have to, otherwise it's not going to happen. So this practice we bring as meditation. But where things go wrong, that also we have to understand. Why you have to practice this? The thing is this, and now you know Tathagata means, so the person who go towards the reality, go into reality. And that path, that result we call realization. So now we come to go self-realization. So the self is the ultimate, that the dealer that doing this everything, because if you are not here like this, you're not going to experience anything. So then that is the most important thing. So then now you have to understand to the self. So then self-realization, rather than go towards the outside thing, how the birds behave, how the trees grow, how the clouds happen, how the sun and moon, connection, you have to first come to recognize how this self happening. So when you are capable to, when you have the ability to go towards the core level of self, and that is another way we call the self-realization. But the problem is this. Now, without practicing, there are more opportunities for us to understand. So realization words, when it came to the Western world, what happened? It took the meaning, realization, and it took the meaning kind of like understanding. But the understanding came from a different way of life. So the understanding came out of the authorization and the hierarchy. And other thing is by preaching and listening and following and worshiping. So that's how it came, understanding. And that is where the schooling system built up in the history. And when it come to the Greek, so the one philosopher, and they understand something and they start to preach something and others start to follow. So whoever preach something and believing in it and take it and follow it, call another way the understanding. So if we break down it another way, you will get it clearly. Understand. So that means you stand under someone. So it's when it comes to the knowledge, you take it, but it is not your realization or the experience. You take it from someone. So then what you recognize is belong to someone else. So that is where the understanding came. So now you come to the point to understand how this Buddhism This realization is totally different than understanding. So we listening to Dharma, and then we reading the sutras, we learning, and we have a different way of interpretation regarding this understanding, and we say, oh, listening to that I understood. Oh, I understood. Oh, reading the book I understood. But you don't remember yourself. You just follow someone else's theory or the method or whatever other person told. Maybe you say, oh, it makes sense. That's why I took it. But it makes sense doesn't mean it is truth. There are a lot of things around us make sense, but it is not truth. But our purpose is not satisfied and not just to align with the sense or not to harmony with the common sense. We try to go towards the realization. So when it comes to that, your point of view is very matter. So remember that. Your point of view, most of the time we forget that. When it comes to something, when we listen to the news, when you hear something, when we have the faith regarding husband or the wife or the children, when we as a family, when we as a neighbor, when we as a citizens, you know, and maybe with the aliens, when we have kind of like a, you know, this global way of understanding. So it's sometimes you forget your point of view. And your point of view sometimes, even that you have the point of view, and sometimes your point of view come out of the culture, tradition, and the schooling system, and whatever the book you believe, or maybe whatever the monk you believe, or maybe whatever the sutra you believe. So it is you believe, not your experience. Because when it comes to experience, your believing doesn't work. When it comes to experience, your believing doesn't, well, it doesn't have any value. And then once you know that the realization or your experience is the most important, you will not put anyone to believe something. Why? Because you know it doesn't have any value. So what then to realize something, then what you need to do first? Rather than go with the sutras, rather than listening, keep listening to the Dhamma, or rather than, you know, and into the books, it's very necessary. It's good. It's neat. Why? Because when you do that way, you're going to understand this path more clearly. If you don't do that, you can't understand this. Because all the teachings will try to tell you this. So that's why it is very necessary. Another thing is that still you have to keep doing something, and then rather than not doing anything, even if you do the wrong, it is good. Why? By the time one day you're going to end up with the right place. So that's why you have to keep doing, at least to understand what is the right method. So then when it comes to yourself, you have to come to a point to be honest to yourself, to be very clear with you. What you understand mean, is it your realization, or are you depending on someone else's knowledge? If you depend on someone else's knowledge, it's totally far, far away from the Buddha. So what the Buddha taught? Maybe as the followers, maybe it will bring us the the background to get into the path, because no one is, wrong. Everybody on the path, one day, somehow, somewhere, it's available for anybody. But the thing is, you have to make it very clear yourself how this practice is going to help for you. So when it comes to this path, so then yourself remember, realize what you need to realize the feelings, realize the mind, realize the body, realize the phenomena. So how things this happening? And that realization is what is the Buddha taught? That is the brand new recognition for the world, that causation, causality, cause and effect. And it was not there before the Buddha. People knew things happen, and people into things, but still they didn't recognize that. So Buddha is the one who found out the causality, causation. And once you recognize the causation, you recognize the process, you understand the process, you realize the process. That realization itself will take you out of the illusion that we hold as there is something exists, the permanent, absolute, concrete, unchangeable, unbreakable, something exists as self. So when it comes to deeper realization, you get out of that illusion. And then you recognize this everything happening as a result of cause and effect. So once you recognize that, you recognize these very feelings, the very cognition, understanding, these all thought patterns, and becoming, this everything happen as a result of cause and effect. So once you get into that, you become more disciplined inside you to develop a certain structure to reduce the unprofitable skills, unnecessary actions. And that itself reduces the power of the habitual pattern or the cankers or the mental formations or the desires. So by the time what will happen, little by little, when you are capable to hold it to the present moment, that means whatever the feelings arise in the moment, and that's another way called the bliss. And once you are capable to hold it to that, little by the time you are capable to increase the duration. So when you increase the duration, in that time period, your mind, moment by moment, follow the bliss, and that means the feelings, and we connect it to that. And we call it the blissful feelings. So in that way, your mind not go towards the backward or the past, or not jump to the future. So in that very level, you deeply recognize there is nothing permanent happening in you. It's a moment by moment change. And that change itself appears, but deeper. It's like a flux. It's like a vibration. And out of that, the experience comes. And it has a deeper mechanism, but still, your mind capable, your awareness, consciousness capable to understand it. Look at the human world. The most of the very complicated things built by the mind, not by the nature. The nature, very simple things built by the nature, but most of the very complicated things built by the mind. So then, when it comes to very conventional level, if it is built by the mind, so the mind should be more stronger than that complicated things. So the mind is the superpower. So this means your awareness is the superpower, your consciousness, your recognition is the superpower. And it has capability to even recognize how it happens. So then what happened to us? Because we never into inside, we always wander to outside. That's why, look at you, you are so smart, you are so, advanced with your lifestyle. You are capable to do a lot of things nowadays. So how that capability came? Because your mind into outside. But what happened by the time we neglected our inside, we go towards inside. So then this realization path is not way of understanding, it's way of realization. So for that you have to come to practice. If there is another way, it's good for you. Try it. But if you don't get any result, then at least try this one. Then you will see. So what you need to do, settle down with the feelings and observe it and recognize it and realize what is happening moment by moment. And if you're capable to catch one thing and enter to that, it will teach what is everything. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit. So your right palm on your left. Neck head straight in one line and be comfortable with your posture. Bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Supat Deva or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation in front of your nose, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. So don't interfere with it. Don't try to verbalize your experience. Just recognize it. Do nothing extra. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all 6 directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata ammi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Addaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadhi maranam ha paribunjisami idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Bless you.